has gained close to 50 pounds, like probably like 47 pounds in a period of 2.5 months. Hey guys, it's Mary from Mary's Cup of Tea. I am here with my dear friend Ula. She is your nutrition cure on social media. So tell us, I will link her here, but tell us what you do and how you help women.
I'm a hormone balancing, women's hormone coach, and I help women heal their hormones through self-love and healing foods.
Ooh, I love it. So Ula addresses the aspect of like, how do I balance health with body love? Because I get those questions all the time of like, how can I love and accept where I'm at now and still be healthy? Because sometimes we think the two are mutually exclusive, and they're not. Anyways, today we are going to be talking about how to deal with weight gain like a boss-ass bitch.
Yeah.
Is that what we titled the video?
Not boss-ass, but boss bitch. Yeah.
Oh, I like boss-ass. I added a little to it.
Or maybe before we start, let's talk a little bit about your weight gain story.
Okay, homegirl has gained close to 50 pounds, like probably like 47 pounds in a period of 2.5 months, like literally 10 weeks.
Oh, wow.
A lot. Like it was to a point I was so swollen, and what's the medical word for that when you're swollen with water?
Edema?
Yes.
Okay.
I was so swollen I like couldn't move. It was like this permanent bloat that was just so painful. I remember my stretch marks, because you know how stretch marks are usually like white when they kind of settle in?
Mm-hmm.
Mine were blue.
Oh wow.
They were like bruised stretch marks because my body was like just expanding at such a high rate. And then I remember my mentor, she was actually my naturopath, she was like, whatever you do not do cardio.
Okay.
And that was like my number one rule, like whatever I do not do cardio. You can walk, you can lift, but
That's interesting. Like she was so like, that's helpful. Because then you would just, eat and then exercise, try to exercise it off, or that mentality would still be the same.
Exactly.
So that's wise.
Yeah, and you have to break the cycle somewhere. And I think my first number one tip, and this is so counterintuitive and probably not what you want to hear, but my number one tip is expect it to be painful. Because the only time we're unhappy is when our expectation is higher than our reality. And the only way to shift that is to set your expectation like this is going to be the most painful thing in the world. And then when it's not, your mindset is a little bit different, right? Because you just like surprised yourself.
I definitely think that it's really hard. No matter how you do it, no matter what kind of tips you have, it is very hard to accept the weight gain. Especially when I got diagnosed with this condition and I gained 15 pounds within like a month, and I was like, wait, what's going on? Yeah. I just stopped eating, honestly. I just tried not to eat. And then finally I was like, man, I just want to go on vacation and enjoy myself, and I don't want to worry my whole life about how I look.
Yeah. It's so hard. 15 pounds in 1 month is really hard too.
And I guess it's like the most important thing is to talk to people around you. Like think about it. Like when you're trying to lose weight, you go around talking about it with everyone. Like I'm losing weight and I'm on this new diet, and then eventually everyone learns to support you because they don't, automatically. So and so when you're trying to accept your weight gain or deal with your weight gain, tell people, I'm trying to deal with this weight gain. Like tell your partner, these things so that they can help you through it, just the way you expect people to help you through losing weight and support your journey.
That is so powerful. Yeah, because I did that. I told everybody what I was going through, at least everybody close to me, not on social media. I was still hiding, but I told everybody, and that way, first they were more conscientious about like the things they say to me, and then they were like actually really supportive. And you realize that. I remember I wrote in one of my captions like how to deal with weight gain, and I said, well, you gain weight, you realize that the sky didn't fall. The people who love you still love you. That's true. And you're okay.
And that's most important, I guess, that people still care about you and love you. What you have inside. You're so much more than your weight. But then, again, I know that a lot of you watching are going to ask this question, but I'm trying to lose weight so I can be healthy and, this health thing. Like, how do I just deal with my weight gain? When everyone's telling me I have to be healthier and I have to lose weight to be healthier and things like that.
So a lot of people confuse a symptom and a cause. So you are gaining weight. Your weight gain is not the cause of, say, PCOS.
Yeah, no.
Weight gain is a symptom of PCOS. And then suddenly we flip that whole narrative around and are like, oh, well, if you just lose weight, then you'll
suddenly
be healthier.
Yeah.
But it's like, wait, no. like it's a symptom. It's something that happens as a result of a health condition.
So good to like that.
Yeah.
I wish someone told me that.
Like, hello, cause and effect, like scientific method, 8th grade, you know? Yeah. So a lot of people are like, that's why it's so frustrating when you go to the doctor and they're like, you're at risk for this, for diabetes, for heart disease, for whatever. And because I was diagnosed, by the way, another part of the story, I was diagnosed like pre-diabetic. Okay. And so of course they're going to, well, you just need to lose weight. Okay.
So what did you do? What did you do?
I was upset, but I'm one of those people that's like rebellious in nature. Yeah. So when I get told that, like I knew that I had loads of problems besides being pre-diabetic, and honestly, being pre-diabetic was the least of my concerns. Okay. I was like, I would rather have diabetes and learn to manage that than to have an eating disorder and learn to die.
That's true.
That's just
diet your whole life.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, I would rather like, and it took me a while to get to that place of like, I would rather have this than that. But I got there just because at a certain point something gets so bad that you just don't see another way. So and just having that clarity that weight gain is a symptom and not a cause. With that being said, you can move forward to say like, okay, well, if I want to be healthier, what's going to make me healthier? Addressing the cause, right? Like habits. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing. And so now I love the movement of like health at every size because now they address habits of like, how do we be healthier? Because actually there are new studies that come out, speaking of studies, about like, if you actually have a little bit extra weight on you, you live longer.
Oh, but I actually remember that when I was in school for nutrition, we weren't taught so much about BMI anymore. And that was, I graduated in 2017. We were actually taught that there are people in bigger bodies that are just as healthy as people in smaller bodies. And I feel like science is always emerging. And it's like, I don't think it matters. Your size doesn't matter. It matters how you treat yourself, your stress, your sleep. There's so many other more important factors. Mm-hmm. And I get a lot of messages about this, like, should I eat dairy or should I not eat gluten? And these are like such small things. And my answer is always like, if this is going to cause you any distress, it's just not worth it.
Stress kills. You can go down the rabbit hole of evidence, and it's really cool. I was talking to my dad about this. Did you know that people who never get diagnosed with celiacs, so basically never find out that they're gluten intolerant, never get symptoms?
Oh, wow.
There are people that they're just like, they don't know that they have the gene, and they never get symptoms, so they don't report being celiacs when they are.
That's crazy.
But they don't get symptoms because they don't know, like, ignorance is bliss. Hello. Sometimes I get comments like, oh, if you eat that, you'll die faster. Like, okay, at least I'll die happy.
I'm going to get Ivy for the video. She doesn't care what size you use.
Yeah. This next one, what are we on? 3, 4, whatever. This next tip, revolutionary. I read it in my friend's blog post who's kind of like in this anti-diet industry. Can't remember who it was though, but I stumbled on it the other day and it just like changed my world as to like how to look at it. So you know when you lose weight, and I don't know if a lot of you guys have yo-yoed. I've definitely yo-yoed.
I think everyone has.
A lot. Yeah. I don't know a single person who's never yo-yoed. Yeah. So let's just assume everybody yo-yos. So you know when you like lose weight and then you feel good and people are complimenting you and you're capitalizing off of that social attention, and then you start gaining weight back, and at first it's like, oh, okay, it's just a few pounds, like I'll just like get back on track and like all this stuff, and then you keep gaining more weight, and then you gain weight more than where you started at the beginning of your weight loss.
That's so common.
You always gain back a little bit more, even if it's just a pound or 2 pounds more. It is a proven fact. And if you don't, it's because you are working really hard day and night to make sure that you don't gain back more weight than you initially lost. So the yo-yo effect isn't so much like this, it's more like sloped, right? It keeps gradually crawling upwards. And the interesting bias that we have in our brain, because we've been so brainwashed by diet culture, is that when we gain weight, our weight gain is going to linearly go up and never end. Yeah. And we're just going to become morbidly obese. That's my clients literally tell me that's my biggest fear, is becoming like morbidly obese and my weight gain never stopping. The fact of the matter is that we expect the weight gain to go up and never stop. But we don't realize that if we keep yo-yoing, the yo-yo goes at a slope that goes up and actually never stops.
Yeah, so your weight gain, so many of my clients are like that.
Yeah. Your weight gain will plateau. The yo-yo effect never plateaus. Never. So not to like reverse psychology you, but I'm reverse psychologying you. If you really don't want to gain weight, you got to give it up.
Mm-hmm.
The dieting, the pursuit of weight loss, because otherwise there is no end to the yo-yo effect. There is an end to weight gain, self-acceptance around weight gain, self-love. Wow, would you look at that? My weight is stable. It's normal.
Intuitive eating.
Yeah.
Like I'm tuned into my body too. That's important. But you brought up an interesting thing because I know a lot of people are probably going to think this, and I used to think about it too. And then I did research. You know how on Instagram you see those before and afters where someone like lost 150 pounds?
Yeah.
And then they stay that way?
Yeah.
The thing is, that's like 5% of the people who ever go on a diet, first of all. It's like 5%. And so that's when you're trying to lose weight, you think that you're going to be that 5%. So you're not paying attention to the 95% that weight loss failed or people regained their weight after 2 to 3 years. But you have to remember, you have no idea how that person's doing it.
I actually personally have worked with clients who have lost, I think I had a client who lost 70 pounds. And her first initial application email to me was, I lost 70 pounds and I'm still unhappy.
Oh, wow.
And I've been in that place where I've lost 20, 30 pounds when I was really young and I was still very unhappy.
That even when you're heavier, you can feel better about yourself than if you were lighter. And I think that's most important to remember.
Because you don't have that pressure. Whereas like when you lose weight, now there's this like new identity factor on top of it that like, oh, I have to be this like fit person who lost weight and kept it off, and I have to keep eating. And that's the thing about losing weight. Like unless you're always dieting, your body is going to go back to where it naturally wants to be. There is such a thing.
Set point.
Yeah. I don't like using that word that much, but there is such a thing as a set point weight. And as I said earlier, the thing about yo-yoing is your set point weight gradually increases when you yo-yo. If you just quit now and literally start yesterday and focus on the acceptance, your set point weight will be one set point weight instead of this yo-yoing set point weight that gradually goes.
And also I think it's important to remember that I have a lot of, for example, clients who say I have to lose weight because of fertility issues or certain things like that. I feel like you'll reach that healthiest weight for you, and I'm not saying that's a lower weight or a higher weight, when you're most in tune with your body. And the only way you can do that is if you stop making losing weight a priority.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really want to touch on that we touched previously when we stopped recording is when it comes to dealing with weight gain, you need to surround yourself with a good support system. And you were talking about an important thing with your friend that I feel like someone could benefit from that.
Should we bring the tears again? So I really struggled with this because when when I started gaining weight, when I quit competing, I fled to Canada because I couldn't be. I grew up in Arizona and I did all my training competitions here. And so when I started gaining weight, like there were rumors about me, and I would walk in the gym and I would literally see people whispering, and they would come up to me and be like, "What happened to you?" Like, Mary gained weight. It's really hard to get out of that. So I moved to Canada. I found Canada to be a lot like, I lived in Calgary. It was so down to earth, and it's cold, so people are more clothed and nobody really cares that much about how you look. So I did create that healing experience for myself. And then recovery, healing, and then 2 years later, I came back to Arizona. And I just dealt with this past few months, especially August and September. We're in November right now, but especially when I first moved back, I was dealing with not only seeing old friends and old people in a new and bigger body and a different mindset, but also the friends that I'm still close to who are not necessarily like in diet culture, but who still do that thing of like, oh, I just want to look good or
get healthy. Because my body isn't unhealthy right now, or I need to give up gluten, or this makes me bloated. And it's funny because these people do not realize that they're in the diet. And I'm not even mad at them. I sympathize with them, but it's prominent.
I remember the last time I remember having a meal with somebody who afterwards didn't make a comment about feeling bloated, too full, fat, or talked about being on a diet while we were eating was the lunch me and you had.
Oh, wow.
Literally every single person, down to the point of like family. It's just a topic of conversation. That is diet culture.
That makes me happy.
But because we talked about like life goals and men and stuff. Like interesting things.
I like dieting. I don't want people to think it's like about being vegan or keto, because a lot of people think like, oh, I'm just really healthy. Like I eat enough and I'm making, but it's not that. It's saying things like, I feel fat, or oh my god, I shouldn't have eaten that. I need to like detox tomorrow morning, or like I need to eat something light because I've been eating way too much today. Like I'm not gonna order an appetizer or I don't know, random things, or like
my favorite. I worked out today so I can have this.
Yeah, or I'll just burn it off tomorrow.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what? Like, or people who say that they feel fat and then they're smaller than you.
I had this. I was in my bathroom. I have these like big mirrors in my bathroom, and it's a girlfriend who's currently one of my closest friends, looking at herself in the mirror and just flat out pinching her skin, criticizing her body. And I am like in tears because at this point I've been bottling this up ever since I got back to Arizona and started hanging out with her a bit more. And before it was like little remarks, but here it was just like very explicit. And I looked at her, took a deep breath, and said, hey, what do you think of me?
That's good.
Because she's objectively smaller than me. Shorter, smaller. I am a little bit bigger. Yeah. And I was like, what, if you talk to yourself that way, like, honestly, what do you think of me? Are you like embarrassed to go out with me? And I was like, I just told her it's been eating me alive. I've been very curious about it because based on the way that you talk about yourself, I don't see how you could not think those things about me, given that I am objectively bigger than you. And I mean, it was a conversation that was very difficult to have, and it resulted in a lot of tears, but also a breakthrough, not only for me for speaking up, but also for her for seeing how she talks to herself affects those around her, and how detrimental it is, and how obsessive it is. Politely speak up. People take it as an attack to them personally, and because they hear it as like you're attacking their identity because think about it. How much time, energy, money, and attention do you spend into, let's even take health. Let's not even take dieting. How much time, energy, and attention do you spend focusing on your health? And then suddenly somebody presents to you with the idea of like, hey, I actually don't want this to be a part of our dialogue because it affects me in such and such way. And then they take it as a stab to themselves because they have revolved their life around it.
I felt really bad speaking of the first time. I just want to make it like, I came home and I was like, I shouldn't have done it. Like, I lost a friend. Like, oh my God, I'm being so dramatic. People talk about this stuff. Like, why do I care if this person talks about it? But then I thought about you saying that boundaries are important. And that doesn't mean we can't have, like, fruitful conversations. And I also told this person how I want them to talk to me. I want them to say, like, this food is satisfying, energizing, like, different words. You know, we can still talk about food. And if you want, we can talk about health. I'm a nutritionist. Like, I love talking, but can we use, like, different words? You know?
Unless you are proposing a solution, you are complaining.
True.
So unless you're saying like, oh, I overate, next time I'm going to eat more intuitively, or like be a little bit more in sync, or I got distracted, when you like
that sounds really good, actually.
Yeah.
When you like, I wouldn't get so offended someone saying that.
Like, oh, I was distracted eating and I felt like I ate too much, but next time make sure I put my phone away. Things like that. So unless you're proposing a solution, this is to anything in life, I highly recommend doing a 21-day no complaint detox. It'll change your life.
That sounds fun.
And the scope of that is like, unless you're proposing a solution, you are complaining. And complaining is not productive. So with that, like, I don't mind if people like propose a solution. Oh, I'm not feeling so good today. Like, next time I am going to make time for the gym because I know that being active is going to make me feel better. And like, okay, great. How can I support you? Like, you want to stay accountable? I'll text you tomorrow morning. Like, that's exciting. That is fun. Yeah. Goal setting. That's fun. Healthy living.
That's not talking about, if you're exercising, not talking about just your body. Maybe just like, I want to get stronger. I want to run faster. Like, like celebrating what you can do instead of, I want to get toned. I want to change this. And that's also another thing about dealing with weight gain is you can still move and exercise without focusing on losing weight. You can just accept your body as it is now and be grateful for all the things you can still do despite the weight that you have.
So weight loss is a battle that you can and will never win, whereas self-love is a battle that is a good fight and you will win. And you are winning just by being in the work. So hang in there, keep going, and just,
it's worth it.
Yeah, it really is worth it. It's hard, but it's worth it. All good things in life come with a challenge. So I hope you ladies enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comments if something landed with you. We always want to know like if something resonated and helped you, because that way we can create more of that. And throw us any questions you have about accepting weight gain. It is not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not.
Sure.
Definitely.
So, Thank you, Ula,
for
joining me.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching.
Hit the button below to subscribe. I will link Ula, her YouTube channel, and all her social media handles in the description below, so make sure to check her out and go down the rabbit hole of her videos because they're incredible. So check her out. Thank you for watching, and bye!